Tactics Training Volume 7. Here we go. 10 tactics to test your chess strength. Starting with our normal three-step process. First, we do a material count. I like to start with pawns. There's 7 pawns, 7 pawns. Let's see, minor pieces next. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 for us, 2, 3, 4 for them, 2 rooks, and a queen, and of course the king. Okay, so materially we are equal. White has got a little bit more development. Now we sort of look now to see the threats. First to me, because if I'm getting mated, I want to make sure I see that before I start planning an attack. And no, I'm not getting mated anytime soon. My knight is under attack here on c6. It's under attack by the knight and the bishop. Nothing secretive there. His pieces, his rooks, are kind of out of play, as are mine. His queen is not really participating. So it looks like I can now talk about what I want to do. And it looks like initially this move, e5, looks pretty strong. And the reason I say that is if I play e5, first off, it's hitting 2 pieces he can't defend. He's going to take, obviously, and then I'm going to take with the pawn, renewing the threat on the bishop, and that threat still exists with the bishop on f4. So I don't see any other move. Let me just double check. Let's do it. Oh, he goes back. Well, that's loses a piece either way. So I take it, and that's problem 1. Problem 2. Okay, I am white this time. What a mess here. Let's see. 5 pawns for white. 7 pawns for black. So already he's up 2 pawns. And you can kind of get that perspective because look where his pieces are invading my camp. It's kind of interesting what's going on here. So that's a little weird. Okay, so 4 minor pieces for me. 3 for him because he just took a rook, it looks like, on a1. He has 2 rooks. I have 1 rook. So he's up in exchange here. So that's the challenge here, and some pawns. So now it's my move. I'm obviously hitting his rook right here with the bishop, but what any threats to me right now? Is he threatening to do anything? Well, not really, because his bishop has no scope. This knight out of play. The rook here and the knight not doing very much. So it looks like the safest move right now is to simply take the rook and basically be even in material in that respect. Well, I should say be up material because I have now 4 minors to a rook. He would have 3 minors and a rook. So I don't see anything else that would stop me from doing it. It looks too simple. What am I missing here? I could castle, but so what? What does that do? Then he's going to play a move like b3, or just move his rook. I should say, just move his rook out of there. So that doesn't make any sense. I think, yeah, I have to take this rook. Let's start with that. Okay, he pushes b3. I saw that. Obviously, it's not a threat. Just go here. All right. Wow. Not too difficult. Okay. Problem 3. 7 pawns for white. 6 pawns for black. I'm up a pawn. Always a good thing. Minor pieces. 3 for black. 3 for me. 2 rooks. Queen. Okay. Am I under immediate threat here? Well, I wouldn't say I'm getting mated, but this bishop is really nice, and it's kind of keeping me from castling. That's kind of annoying, to be sure. My queen is centralized. It's not necessarily under attack. This knight here is under attack from the bishop and the queen, but again, it's well seated here with the pawn, so there's no worries there. Okay, so what can I do is the $1,000,000 question. Let's just take a look to see weaknesses. Well, obviously he has an uncastled king, well, as I do, but my pieces are a little more involved. This bishop is nice, but it's kind of the opposite of what this one is doing, pointing in 2 different directions. I don't see anything immediate there. So what do I have? What is a good move here? Well, one thing I'm going to notice is this file is particularly strong. I have these 2 pieces here really bearing down. So if I move this knight in the center here somewhere, it could expose the knight to attack, the knight on d7. But to where? Where do I go? Well, the first move I'm looking at is a move like knight f5, because it hits the bishop and exposes these two pieces to hit the d7 knight. It's a lot to manage. I'm not saying... Now you might say, well, can I just do that here? No, because the queen takes it. So knight f5 is my first idea here. No matter what he does, he's losing a piece either way. So if I play knight f5 and he castles, I just take the g7. Bishop. And then what? So knight f5, he triple O's on me. Yeah, I don't see it. What else? All right, let's do it. There you go. He's hitting the queen, but it doesn't matter. I still have this. We can move, can he? Did I calculate this? Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah, just take it. Yeah. He goes here. If he goes here, just take it again. Takes. And I can easily get out of here. It's not that big a deal. I'm still up how much material here? His king is just terribly exposed here. It's just a big problem. Even like this is fine. If I play knight h5, I mean, if it continues here, okay, I take. Computer's actually disagreeing with me, but yeah, what do you have here? These pieces are just completely, this king is terribly exposed, and the rook lift is coming soon. He's just got some problems here for sure. Okay, was this problem 4? I think it's problem 4. Yes, I think so. Yeah. Problem 4. I'm black. 5 black pawns. 5 white pawns. Okay, a minor each, 2 rooks each, and a queen. Yeah, queen each. And where's my threats here? Wow. Well, these pieces are pretty much buried, so I'm not ultimately worried. And this queen looks mighty vulnerable to me. I don't know. Just seems that way. So the question is, what do I have here? Is there some threat? This rook is hanging. I see that. So that's interesting. If I move the knight purposefully, I can potentially have some threats. But where to do that? His queen can come and, well, this queen can't really move many places, can it? Maybe to there, but it's not too good. Well, let's see what else here. So I'm looking at a knight move to try and win the rook, but I'm trying to find out what makes the most amount of sense. If I take this, he takes the rook, I take back. I mean, it wins a pawn, I guess. It's fair. But is there more? Always be greedy about these things. Never settle for a pawn. If I can get more, let's get more. Knight c3, this is very passive. He just takes. There's nothing to really worry about. What else? Knight f4 is the only other move. But what else is it hitting? It's hitting in these squares, but what does that matter? Well, I think, in the absence of finding the exact continuation, I like knight f4. I'm sorry, not knight f4, knight g3, because it does win a pawn. I might be missing something here, and I might just get this one wrong. This is what problem 4. But I think it's done with the best of intentions here. So I'm going to do knight g3 and see what happens. Oh, it's right. Okay, so I take, hitting the rook. And I win the rook. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a tough problem. I agree. All right, well, problem 5. Okay. 6 black pawns. 6 white pawns, 2 minors, and a rook each. First thing I've noticed for him is he has the 2 bishops. Always a good thing. He's kind of raining down on me here. My knight is hanging as well from the rook. That's another problem. Actually, this knight is hanging too from the king. Gee whiz, there's a whole bunch of problems going on. So, got to figure out what to do. I'm guessing there's a mate here because I don't know how else you get out of this. Good grief. Let's see, knight h5. Looks interesting. Well, taking looks interesting too, but is that enough? Gosh, there's so many things. So knight taking, he just takes the knight. So that's just a trade for a trade. Nothing secretive there. Well, to try and save this knight, how do I do it with tempo? I could just do knight check. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe the other knight check. Either one. Let's see. Let's take a look at this knight check first. Because this knight here covers a square. So knight check, where do you go? Here. Oh, g5 mate. Or real close. Or even just rook over threatening here, mate. Gosh, what a freaking mess. With the other knight. Possibility, then you get to play back here though. And then it's more dancing around and who knows. So I like that check. I have to see the exact mate sequence. So knight here, where else can he go? King back. And again, rook here. To here, king back there. Following all these crazy moves. Well, let's see. If I go knight here, let's say he goes back. Oh yeah, I'm threatening this, followed by this. Can he go back even further than that? I don't think so. Well, I can take this. Gee, I'm all over him, kind of. Well, I don't know. It looks like a complicated sequence for me anyway, for the amateur player. Is there something simpler where I just win a piece and there's nothing he can do? I also like knight here because it just indirectly threatens this, which is sort of nice, even though it covers it by the rook, but still, it's a nice move. Only other move I see is rook over, rook g1. What is that? Oh, he just takes the knight. That's silly. All right, I'm going to do what I think is right, and it's this. Maybe it's wrong. Oh, I've been right again. Okay. So, fair enough. Okay. So what else here? So I get to play, as I said, I was going to play this and then this, but the question I had is how do I get, let's see. How do I follow through though with it? I can take this guy, that doesn't do anything. There's no mate. It's just an exchange. Well, I still like the idea of coming in here to here. Check. You can't really do very much to stop it. If he goes to the corner, that's the question. How do I can win this pawn? Or is there something more immediate that's just flat out winning and I'm not seeing it? Like knight takes h here. Oh, no, it doesn't. He takes this is hanging. Well, I'm gonna try it. See what happens. Oh, it's wrong. Well, hey, I was getting there. What's the answer? Oh, it's just here. All right, I was gonna go here and then take the pawn, but he says just go directly there. Oh, let's see. What does he do here? Let's just say he does something like this. It's mating to the corner. Oh, that's crushing. Oops. Hello. Here. Actually, no, it's just 9H3, mate. Okay, well, that's a tough one. I think I'm what, problem 6? I think that's right. I think the move, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns, 5 pawns. I'm up a pawn. 3 minors, 3 minors, 2 rooks, and a queen. Threats to me are this bishop is a nice diagonal, but it's biting on granite here, so that's not really a big deal. The rook, not doing very much. This rook isn't doing anything. The push maybe is not terribly threatening at this point anyway, because if I just take and it exposes my bishop diagonal. Looks to me like f5, right? That's my hitting 2 pieces. He can always take, but I'm going to take back, right? And that's it. Gee, problem 7. All right, 7 black pawns, 7 white pawns, 3 minors, 3 minors. I have the bishop pair. Yippee. 2 rooks, 2 rooks. All right, well, not that big a deal. He's got some expansion here. It's the first thing I'm noticing. He's got some nice center control. He's got good squares. I have this nice diagonal, but it's not necessarily, I don't call it devastating at this point. The other thing is I have this b4 push, but in terms of threats to me, he doesn't really have. I mean, I'm not getting mated. There's no pawns under attack. This pawn is safe. But for me, a move like b4 opens up this diagonal, which is generally good. Um, and if I play b4 and takes, knight has to move. Let's say he moves back. Well, then this knight hangs. Sorry, the pawn hangs, and the knight can capture it. Is that enough? I don't know. That's the question. I don't know if that's enough to be too excited about. Breaking center open is out of the question because he just takes and his pawn is loose and he's going to get on it anyway. It's a terrible disaster. So I got to keep the center closed right now. Okay, so what else am I missing here? I'm going to win an e4 pawn. That's a good thing. Why would that not be good? But can I win more? If I take it immediately, what happens? Well, nothing. Yeah, I don't see any other real move. I mean, I can play like knight here, hitting the bishop. Okay, so what? I move back. And now I have a misplaced knight. What's my knight doing on h5? So b4 looks like the only meaningful move, I'll be honest. So I'm going to play it. Risk being wrong. Oh, he's doing that. How interesting. Huh. He just took the bishop, huh? Wow. Well, I think I can just I'm a little confused here. What's the material count here? If I take, yeah, just taking the rook looks good. If I take here, he takes the rook and the queen, and it's all a mess. So I think taking here, let's see. Yeah, that isn't too hard. That was the number 7. Well, now number 8, if I'm counting right. If not, we'll do 9 problems, not 10. Okay. 5 white pawns, 6 black pawns. What do we have? Okay, what's my threats to me? Oh, nothing really. Actually, this bishop is bad. Hits on granite here with this bad pawn, which can be pushed, but not immediately. This get those pawns rolling, so to speak. I don't see what else there is. I mean, moves like this, looks interesting, but he just takes the pawn, and my pawns are falling apart. Well, I mean that's not true. I guess I'm hitting the rook. So I play knight e3, knight d3 rather. Well, he plays rook up or something. Maybe he sacks an exchange. He just takes on this. I know he can't because of the. Oh, maybe knight d3 is not a horrible move. Knight d3 also hits this pawn, so and it blocks the this other guy. So maybe that's a meaningful move. If I go knight d3, he takes with the rook. I take. He takes the knight. Eesh. Well, hold on. Then I have this. I have b7. He's got to bring everything back. God, maybe a good move. Knight d3. Knight d3. Well, knight d3, and then he plays this rook over, hitting the knight. Now what? Gulp. Right? That's a problem. So back to my original idea. I think c7 is the simplest, but what else can I do? Let's give it a shot. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. Wow, he just takes it. Gee. Wow, plus 28. It was that difficult of a problem? I guess it really was. It took me a while. There's a lot of possibilities, but it's just the simplest idea. Just look, I mean, what else am I going to do here? There's no reason to get cute. Just protect the pawn. What is his counterplay? I mean, I looked at him taking. That doesn't make any sense. But I guess he has to stop the pawn rush, so he has to sack a rook. So, okay. Problem 10. Look at me. I'm almost at 2300. Fascinating. Okay. Let's count it up here. 3, 5 pawns for me. 7 for white. Good grief. He's got a couple pawns here. Minor pieces. 4 for me. 4 for him. 2 rooks, a queen, and all hell is breaking loose here. So he just played ED6, right? Okay. Sometimes it's important to get the last move because occasionally on these tactics, a move will be like en passant, and you won't know that until you replay the last move. But not in this case, but it's an issue. Okay, so normally I would just say I can take his queen, but before I look at that, he's ready to take my queen. That's priority number 1. So how do I deal with that first? Okay. Second thing, what else? I got a pin on him here. Any other threats he has to me? This guy is blocking this bishop, so that's good news for me. This terrible knight here, terrible rook, not participating. So the instinctive move is just to take the queen. I mean, why wouldn't we do that? But he can take it any number of ways. Let's see. Knight takes. Yeah, I don't see anything. And if I move the queen away, like here, I can't move anywhere. I can go here too, I guess. He can play a lot of places. He's not in any real threat of anything, is he? I can't move away completely because the rook is hanging, but what else can I do? I move the queen away and have the rook attack him and say, hey, here you go. Deal with that single-barreled action. Well, he just goes here and says, so what? I'm not afraid of that. And now my queen is misplaced. So, does that do anything? No. I'm probably missing some other in-between move, is my guess. I could just take the f3 knight. He plays rook takes. I have a bishop check, which, okay, who cares? Move away, and I can still take the queen, but then it's covered multiple ways. So is there any way to get rid of these defenders is the real question quickly. And not really, because my queen is still hanging, so I got to be mindful of that. What is a better idea? Well, I'm thinking in all the exchanges and trades. If he takes with the knight, So what? I mean, it's not that big a deal. I can play my knight here with impunity, but what does it matter? When am I actually stopping? This pawn is an annoyance for sure because it can push, but I have a lot of pieces on it. My knight's on it, my bishop is on it, this other knight's on it. I mean, it's not that scary, even though it is a pass pawn. This is another tough problem. Well, I'm thinking it takes so many possibilities here, but I think queen takes seems to be the only real response I can see without bringing myself a lot of trouble. Uh, I wish that weren't the case, but I think it is. Yeah, I can play silly moves like, bishop d4 check, right? And then he just takes it. And he's still on the queen multiple times. And I still have the same problem. What else? Queen takes e2, bishop e2 then. Okay, knight b3 is a move, but so what? Well, I'm taking the queen and dealing with the consequence. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's the right move. He takes bishop takes. I'm kind of working my way through this. Oh, I see it right away. Why is this so obvious now? I just take, yeah. Some reason I had to play a move and didn't see the. I was trying to think of what happens if he takes with the knight. Well, what happens if he does? Well, this is the move I didn't see. This is very difficult. Rook e4. What a in between move that is. That's what I wasn't looking at. Hitting this, hitting that. He can't defend both. What's he gonna do? Knight d2? That's what the computer says. So what? That's ridiculous. Just take it. Game over. Up a piece. I mean, okay, that's problem 10. I hope you enjoyed. I got, I think, one wrong. These are tough problems, so always look deep to see where your opponent is going to play and look for multiple options. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.